The movie begins at Blackwood Pharma's labs, where we see a rat being taken out of its cage to have its head cut off. At the same time, Claire arrives at the company's ultramodern headquarters to take part in a 5-day clinical trial because she needs the money. After everyone changes into medical scrubs, they're taken to an examination room and told there's no Wi-Fi or cell service. Claire tries to text her worried mom, telling her to leave her alone, but the message won't send, hinting at tension between them. They then meet Dr. Burke, who will be supervising the trial. She explains that the drug dosage will start low and increase each day. For the full 5 days, the participants won't be allowed to leave the floor. Throughout the day, a nurse constantly checks on them, asking the same questions about pain, monitoring their pulse, drawing blood samples, and even collecting samples from the bathroom. Allison tries to be friendly with Claire, but Claire snaps at her and suddenly stops when she feels like she's about to throw up. Later, in the bathroom, Claire meets Amir, a med student who hopes to land a job with the company in the future. That night, Claire's brain has a strange chemical reaction, and she can't sleep. When she steps out of her room, she realizes no one else can sleep either, which makes everyone uneasy. Mark says he feels something weird but can't explain it. The next morning, Dr. Burke tells them that a little anxiety isn't a big deal and orders a whole new round of tests. On the wall, a clock counts down the remaining hours of the trial. Later, in her office, Burke tells her superiors that the drug goes straight to the participants' central nervous systems and causes severe brain inflammation. They remind her it's a double-blind study, so she's not allowed to know all the details. Still, they're shocked to learn that the test results she sent came back in just 1 day, much faster than expected. The following day, Burke announces that the trial criteria have changed. Now the company wants to see how long the group can stay awake, and they're strictly forbidden from trying to sleep. If they feel extreme exhaustion, they must report it to her or the nurse. After Claire takes the new dose, she's put inside an MRI machine, which terrifies her because she's claustrophobic. The darkness and strange noises trigger traumatic memories of her alcoholic mother yelling at her and refusing to let her leave. Claire screams for them to stop the experiment, but it continues until the scan is finished. As time passes, the group grows more anxious from the lack of sleep and the increasing doses. Dr. Burke reminds them they're free to leave at any time, but she also announces that anyone who stays until the end will receive a €3,000 bonus. Most of the group loves the idea and starts celebrating, while Claire and Amir remain cautious, knowing nothing comes for free. The group turns on music, pops champagne, and throws a small party. Allison tries to get Claire to dance, but Claire feels exhausted and goes to report it to Dr. Burke. Soon Ray feels sick too, so Burke shuts the party down and tells everyone to drink water. She then contacts her superiors again, explaining that the participants' immune systems are destabilizing and that she wants to shut the trial down. They refuse and order her to increase the dosage. Meanwhile, the participants encourage each other to stay awake by talking. Claire tries to doze off for a moment, but Allison immediately wakes her up and asks about her plans for the money. Claire reacts harshly and yells at her. Allison storms out, and Amir leaves as well. Walking down the hallway, Amir overhears Dr. Burke telling her bosses that she refuses to take responsibility for what's about to happen. After she leaves her office, Amir sneaks in, checks the test results on her computer, and sees the words, "brain inflammation." Terrified, he copies all the files onto a flash drive. The rest of the group is watching TV. Suddenly, the screen glitches out. Claire notices Allison sitting by herself, so she goes over to apologize, but finds her asleep. In that moment, Allison starts bleeding from her eyes, nose, and ears. Then she has a seizure, her body collapses to the floor, her eyes turn red, and she begins vomiting. After her body convulses violently, she dies. When Dr. Burke sees what happened, the facility computer announces a security breach, and from that moment on they're placed under full lockdown. Alarms start blaring in every room, the lights turn red, and the system begins a countdown. Burke and the participants run, trying to escape before the door shuts. Dr. Burke attempts to slip through at the last second, but the heavy metal door slams closed and crushes her against the wall, causing a fatal injury. The group manages to pull her out, but it's too late. She apologizes and dies immediately. The door seals shut, trapping the participants inside. The timer on the wall resets, and now counts down 24 hours until the lockdown ends. Amir comes out of Dr. Burke's office and tells everyone they have to stay awake, because if they fall asleep, something very, very bad will happen. He explains that he saw the test results, and that their brains have been under extreme pressure over the past 4 days, which could lead to total shutdown. Panic spreads through the group. Ray even has a nervous breakdown, while the others try pushing the door open with no success. In the rec room, the TV plays a message from the company telling them to stay calm. They look for anything that can keep them awake and find a stash of smelling salts. Each of them takes 5 canisters to last through the night. Amir warns them to only use it as a last resort, but Ray immediately uses one. Later, Ray finds some medication in a cabinet, but Amir quickly warns him not to take it. In fact, he advises them not to drink coffee either, since any stimulants will only make the inflammation in their brains flare up faster. Amir insists this can still be treated, they just need to wait until the doors open and help arrives. Over the next several hours, the group struggles to stay awake. By now, they've been up for 100 hours. Amir believes the brain inflammation might start to decrease since they've stopped taking the drug. But when he scans Claire's brain to check on her, the results are terrifying. Even so, he doesn't tell anyone. While walking down the hallway, Claire gets extremely dizzy and starts hearing her mother's voice. She decides to record a message for her. Her mother is in a nursing facility at a hospital after her liver failed from years of alcohol abuse. But Claire keeps deleting the video. Later, she finds the lab rats and decides to set them free, but they refuse to leave their cages. There are 16 hours left, and it's becoming nearly impossible for the group to stay awake. Ray keeps slapping his own cheeks to fight off sleep, since he's already used up all his smelling salts. He starts bothering the others, begging them to give him some of theirs, but no one helps him. Meanwhile, Amir continues running tests in the exam room next to the 2 bodies. Suddenly, he sees Dr. Burke sitting behind him, but when he turns around, her body is still lying there dead. That's when he realizes he's hallucinating. In the rec room, Claire stares at the wall while still hearing her mother's voice. Her vision starts to fade as she remembers her strange childhood bedroom. Just before she passes out, Marcus bangs on the door and wakes her up. Claire can't understand how Marcus still seems okay. He has a leg injury from a serious mountain accident, and he says the body will keep pushing itself as long as it has to in order to survive. Later, Claire goes into Burke's office and looks at the brain scans, then reads her own medical file. She discovers notes about her self-destructive behavior and deep frustration with her life, details that made her a perfect candidate for such a dangerous experiment. After that, she finds Vanessa using fire to keep herself awake, saying she refuses to give in. In the bathroom, Marcus whistles and hears someone whistle back, even though he's supposed to be alone. He turns on the faucet, but there's no sound of water running. When he shuts it off, he hears the water a few seconds late. When he punches the mirror, the same thing happens. The sound comes a few seconds after the impact. Terrified, Marcus rushes out of the bathroom and hears whistling in the hallway. He looks around, searching for whoever it is, but there's no one there. When Marcus reaches the main hall, he's shocked to see the door open. He steps into the deep darkness, and moments later the others find him dead on the floor. His hallucinations must have caused him to fall asleep. There are 15 hours left, and everyone is on edge. Claire feels dizzy and imagines Allison waking up, so she stumbles away from the group and heads into the kitchen. After seeing a rat staring at her, she burns herself to shock her body awake. The burn is severe, but she feels alert again. She ties her hands and goes back to the group, yelling that she's done waiting and is going to find a way out. The group draws a map of the facility to figure out which wall they can break through. Amir tells them it's pointless. Places like this are built with extreme security, but they ignore him and start smashing a wall with an axe, taking turns until they finally break through. In the end, they hit a thick metal barrier just like the main door. Amir was right. Claire goes to Amir for another idea, but Ray starts questioning how Amir knew about the metal wall and assumes he's secretly working with the company. Claire finds Amir handing her a written confession while he's clearly losing it, hallucinating Dr. Burke's face. It turns out copying the files triggered the lockdown. Overwhelmed with guilt, Amir decides to give up and fall asleep, but Claire stops him and uses fire to keep him focused. That sparks an idea. He can mix certain medications to create an effect similar to brain death. Under normal circumstances it would be fatal, but with their current symptoms, it might actually stop the damage. Ignoring his hallucinations, Amir starts working on the plan. Claire runs to tell the others, but Paul warns her not to trust Amir, claiming he found an empty stimulant container even though Amir told them not to use any. Suddenly the power goes out, and they use their phone flashlights to see. Claire hears her mom and Allison's voices, breaks down crying, and then sees Allison standing in front of her, dead. She drops her phone and the light goes out. She lights a lighter instead, but sees more dead faces in the darkness. Eventually, she reaches the electrical panel and restores the power. They find Paul near the panel, and he swears he only removed a fuse for safety and didn't touch anything else. Ray punches him and ties him up along with Amir and Vanessa, convinced someone is hiding something. They decide to force Amir to confess, and Ray prepares to torture him with a knife. Claire stops him and explains Amir's drug plan, even volunteering to be the first test subject. The group still refuses to untie Amir, so he gives them instructions on how to mix the drug. While they're distracted, Vanessa quietly tells Ray she saw him tampering with the fuse box. Ray admits he was trying to force Amir to sleep to prove he was faking. She also reveals she found a sedative they could use. Just as Paul finishes preparing the injection, Vanessa approaches Amir to sedate him, but suddenly she collapses. She experiences an out-of-body vision, sees the others around her, then a demonic figure appears. She screams as her real body starts bleeding and convulsing before she dies. In the chaos, the remaining vial of the drug falls and shatters. Amir starts laughing hysterically, pushing Claire to the edge. She threatens him with a knife but leaves to check the countdown clock. Through her blurred vision, she sees the words, "Good night," instead of numbers. She nearly blacks out, records a final message to her mom, finds the last stimulant pack, but collapses before she can use it. Her body lifts in a surreal hallucination with soft music playing. Fighting it, she finally takes the stimulant and regains control. Behind the wallpaper in the rec room, they discover a hidden autopsy room and a door leading to a hallway and an elevator. They finally escape the locked area, but Paul insists they split up. Amir continues hallucinating Dr. Burke, encouraging him to stand up. Ray finds a letter from Amir in Vanessa's pocket and storms off to confront him. In the lab, Ray attacks Amir with a scalpel. Amir fights back, overpowers him, and stabs him repeatedly until Ray dies. Claire and Paul arrive and try to stop him, but his hallucinations drive him into a frenzy. Paul hides in the rec room while Claire runs to the MRI room. The machine accidentally activates, and the magnet pulls the knife out of Amir's hand, allowing Claire to escape. Paul reaches what he thinks is an elevator, but it turns out to be a trash incinerator. Flames erupt and burn him alive. Claire finds a pair of scissors to defend herself. Just as both she and Amir are about to collapse from exhaustion, the timer hits 0. The lockdown ends, the lights come back on, and armed men storm in and shoot Amir immediately. Claire hides as they sweep the floor and collect the bodies. To survive, she smears Amir's blood on her face and hides among the corpses. She's loaded into a truck with the others. Inside the body bag, she hallucinates Allison beside her, smiling warmly before disappearing. When Claire moves, the driver sees her in the rearview mirror and crashes the truck. She climbs out and walks a few steps before passing out. 4 months later, Claire is still in a coma at the hospital. The news reports that Blackwood Pharma has been cleared of all charges, with the blame placed entirely on the late Dr. Burke. In that moment, Claire opens her eyes. Thanks for watching, And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.